Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Nishant Nandkuliar 13289. Today in this session I am going to start a new video in how to get a data to Power BI. So this is basically for data extraction, how we get the data from different sources and load into the Power BI. Because in Power BI data is very important. If we don't have any data, see, we are not able to work in Power BI. If we talk about any other tool like Power BI, Tableau, any other tool, if business intelligence tool, this is required the data, because data is our asset. In any other organization, we collect the data from user base side, from client side, from company side, and we collect the data and we load into the Power BI. Then we create report and visual as per the requirement of client, as per the requirement of users and our company. So before start this session, I just want to clear the basic concept of data extraction into the Power BI, which data we use today. Because in this session I will show you the practical knowledge, practical my experience in this session, how we get data. Because data is coming from any sources. It could be a SQL database, it could be a flat file, CSV file, Excel file, folder file, share file, web, any other sources we can get data. So when we work in as a data analyst, we have to know about the data extraction, data load to the Power BI. This is the main process to work before into the Power BI. So in our the second slides, which is mentioned here, extract, transform and load. So in this video I will show you only the extraction process, which source I collect the data, and show you how we collect the data from different sources and how we load the data into the Power BI. So this is the process of ETL, extract, transform and load. Because why I'm telling you this ETL process, when we get the data, from the database or file or any other applications from any other software like any web applications. So there is some process before we start this session. So I just want to share you some my file which I have uploaded in my D drive in my local system. So in this system, in my D drive, in this folder, I have few Excel file and flight data I have, which I downloaded from the Kaggle site. In this Kaggle site, in my Google Kaggle site, I just download the data from here. So if you want to see the data, then I just upload the data in this description in this video, so you can download from there and prepare a report in Power BI. So before I start, I just want to show you my data. So this is the flight data, and this data is in one folder, and this is a CSV file. You can see comma separated values. This is CSV file, and this is different year 18, 19, 20. Why I mentioned this CSV file in one folder? Because if I import the data from CSV file to Power BI in one folder, then file will be imported into the Power BI. After some time, if I add one more data into the Power BI, then this is not possible for me to merge the data and append the data. If I collect this folder in a one time, into the Power BI, and next time if I add some CSV file in this folder like 21 and 22, and then I refresh our Power BI, then the data is automatically uploaded into the Power BI tool. So that is the main features in folder when we collect the data from here. And second, Second is my adventure work 19.bak. This is actually database. This is our database file which we import, which we restore in our MS SQL server. I will show you how we restore the database and how we work in SQL as well as in Microsoft Power BI. We can check the data in MS SQL also and by Microsoft Power BI as well. This is a single CSV file here. We can show you also how we import the flat file in MS SQL server, because if we collect the same data from CSV file to Power BI, they can choose from SQL server to Power BI. It depends on our requirement. This is not essential. It's not necessary to you get a data from always from the CSV file from the SQL server. This depends on the requirement. If your data is in the SQL server, then you collect the data from the MS SQL server to the Power BI. And this is one data of Excel sheet. So how we collect the data and import the data from different sources into the Power BI. So let's start. First I open the icon of Microsoft Power BI. Actually, this is not a Power BI desktop. This is a Power BI report server desktop, because I'm working in both in our company, Power BI desktop and Power BI report server desktop. I will explain you later what is the difference between the Power BI desktop and Power BI report server desktop. Both are equal, but there is some other functionality, because this work on premises of report server and desktop is work on the Power BI cloud. This is the main difference between the two. So this is our empty Power BI desktop of report server. So we upload the data. So first we get the data from the CSV file, then we collect the data from the Excel, then we collect the data from the folder file, then I collect the data from the database. So first I collect the data from the Excel file in this Power BI. So we click here on the get data for Excel. There is one mentioned Excel workbook. You can collect from here also. You can also click on this tab, Excel workbook, and you also collect the import data from Excel here also. There's many options. You collect whatever you choose anywhere. So I click here Excel workbook. I choose my folder. This is my sales data 18. I select the data and click on OK button. Then this data is loading into the Power BI. So this is the navigator page of Microsoft Power BI. This is a two table. This is a two pages in this table. First is sales data and second is sales data. This data you have required into the Power BI. So we select here only one data, and there is option load, transform data and cancel. In transform data, the page will move into the Power BI query, means Power Editor, and this data move into the Power BI desktop. So for this time I click on the load button and data will move into the Power BI desktop. So data is coming here now. So this data is loading here. Before after some time the data will be load here. So data has load successfully. So now you see the data from the right hand side. This is the data of sales and this is the column name. You can see the data from this table view. Order date, reason, manager, salesman, items, units place, sales amount. This is the data, and this is data modeling, which our table is only one. So this table is giving here sales data. Now second thing is we want to import the data from the txt file. So what we do, so in this the get data, there's an option of text file, text oblique CSV. We collect text oblique CSV file. Now in this file we collect on flight data. So this is the CSV file. So I will just pick up one data from this folder. Just for an example, I am choosing 2018 of flight data and select an open button. Then this data is loading into the Power BI. So and one new page will be open here. Yes, that is the page of .csv file, because this is a comma, because delimiter is the basic of the comma delimiter file, because this file is delimiter. So this is the CSV file we load here into the Power BI. The same option is here, transform, load and cancel. So we load here. So data is loading into the Power BI desktop. So data is loaded here. So this is flight data. You can check the table. This is our flight data, serial number, year, month, day, time. These all are the flight data, and so this data is CSV and this data is Excel file. Now our work is Now our work is how to get the data, how to get a bulk of CSV file in one time. So how we get the data from the folder. If we have a data, suppose like this is our flight data and this is the data of 18, 19 and 20. So and we load the 3 data into a one time into the Power BI. If we after some time, if we add another data in this folder, the data is automatically uploaded into the Power BI after refresh button. So in this Power BI desktop, I select the get data, click on the more button, and this is file and this is folder, and connect. So in this one pop-up page will be open here, folder path. You can browse from here also, but I will not do this. Because I just collect the folder path. So I just select here and select the folder path and copy this line and come here and paste the folder path in this tab and click on the OK button. Then one page will be open. This is the page of flight data, which is all the data 18, 19 and 20. This is just a metadata. This is nothing, but this is just show which data you are extracting from CSV file to Power BI. So there is few options. You need to choose whatever you want and what is your requirement. So there is combined, load and transform. So we will choose here load, combine and load. Why we choose? Because all data we collect here 18, 19, 20 in a one time, and this data will load into the Power BI. That's the reason I am selecting combine and load. Click here, combine and load. The data will show here in a one page. So this is the combined file. You can see here this is comma delimiter file, which is showing here the data. You just click on OK button. Then you can see your data will be loading here after a few seconds. Okay, so data is loaded here. Then now in the table view, you can see your data. This is flight data, which I imported from the CSV file. You can, if you check cross and scroll the button, then you see 18, 19 and 20. So this data we need to sort in Power BI query when I will do how we transform and how we clean the data in Power Query in the next video. But today I am just showing you the how to get the data from a folder file, and this data of your sales data we get from the Excel, this data we get from the CSV file, and this data I get from the one folder of bulk of data of CSV in a one folder. Now we have get a data from three sources, folder, Excel and CSV. Now my second turn is we get the data from data sources like database dot adventureworks19.bak. So how we get the data from this database? So before get data, we need to import the data into the SQL server. So I click on the SQL server. It takes a time to open. This is SQL Server Management Studio. This is organized from Microsoft, and this will be open, and this authenticate of the Windows authentication and username like SA and your password. So this is our server type database. There is options you can work on. Analysis, reporting, integrations, database engine, and this is our server name. Okay, and authentication is my Windows, because when I installing the server, SQL server, I select the two options. One option is user and ID password, and second option is Windows authentication. So I choose the Windows authentication and click on the connect button. Then this page will open here. So this is the main page of SQL server. This is our database. So before we start, we need to restore the database in data in our database. So we click right button, restore database. So this is the process how we import data. So we choose device button, we click on this select backup devices, we click on add button. In this section, first we find where is my backup. So my backup is in D drive. In which folder? 10/3/2014 folder. And this is my backup. Backup name is what? Backup name is adventurework2019.bak. We just select this backup and click on OK and click and OK. So this backup is loaded here, and last option click OK. So database adventure works restored successfully. Now the turn is we need to check our data is loaded or not. So we click on database. So this database is loaded here. We adventure work 19. We click on the plus button. So this is the database diagram table view. So which table is imported here into the database? We see the table. So when we click on the table button, entire table will be shown here. It takes a few minutes time because it depends on our internet, what is the speed of our net. So it takes a time. So before I show you the tables, let's speak to some other database also. Suppose we have a database from MySQL. We have a database from Oracle. We have a database from any other sources. So there is the process which we apply here to restore the database into the system. When your database is uploaded into your SQL server or any other database, then you import the data from SQL server to Power BI, from MySQL to Power BI. So that is the process. So now this is going work here. So before it will take some time. So now I will show you how we create a flat file, how we import the flat file into this SQL server. Then I will show you which table is imported here. Okay, so this is my customer booking comma separate files. If when I open this CSV file, you can see here the data. So this is the data, number of passengers. If we collect all the data and then, so this is the, it says channel, trip type, purchase lead, length of stay, flight hour, flight day, route. So how many rows in there? If we want to see, then we just click here and see all the rows. So we find here total total 50,000 rows in there in this CSV file. So what I will do here, I just import this file in SQL Server, and from SQL Server to load the data again into the Power BI. So this is the entire process. Will I show you how we get the data from flat file to SQL and SQL to Power BI desktop. So let us check once again. We click on the, okay, the data is open here. So this is our data. So this is the table of AdventureWorks 19. This is the entire table. If you want to see the data of sales customer, just right click and select top of the count rows. So in this section, you will see the data of the count rows of customer. If you want the data in how many rows, because this is the top 1000, you just delete. You just delete this row, top 1000, and we just click on the execute. So this will take a time, and this will give the exact count of this data. So exact count is 19,820. If you want to see the count of this personal of the customer ID, so then you write a query, select count customer ID from customer. You just copy the customer name, okay, and select the button customer ID. Select count customer ID from the database, because this is a table name of the customer database, okay, and select the query here. So this is count of 19820, and if you select this query 19280, both are the same. What you will do, select a star from sales customer. This is our table name. You give here, okay. So you can see the data in SQL query. So this is the data you just imported here. If you collect any other sources, if you suppose if you want to see the data of this address, so query here, right, select a star from address, address type, and you see address type. person dot address type. Person dot address type. So this is the data of address type, name, row, ID and modified ID. This is a one data of 6 rows. If we want to group the data in here, so select name. If we want to name in the group, because this is the only one name, so there is no name method to the in the group by data. But if you want to see the data in the group wise name, so what we will do, use a name count of address type ID from person address type group by name. So this is the name which we count as a group by. So this is the name. If we alias here, address type, so we can check here the name of the address type. Name, archive, billing, home, main office, primary and shipping is one, because this is just a sample data which I am just showing you how we check the query, how we write a query in group by, how we check the count of, because before I uploading the data into the Power BI and select the count and sum of the ID of any of the cells, so before we can check the data and the exact value is coming here in SQL Server also. So now this is done, and second our here to how we upload the data into this SQL Server from flat file, and that flat file import into the Power BI. So what we will do, right click on the database in task and import flat file. So one page will open here, introduction page. So we select next button, we select the browse. In browse, our data is CSV file is customer booking. Okay, booking, open. So this data will be browsed here, and this is the schema of DBO. Okay, we press on the next button. So this is the preview of data, what data we are uploading from the flat file to the SQL Server. So this is just a sample of the preview of number of passengers, sales, channel, trip, purchase, length of stay. Then we click here on the next button. So next is the column, and this is a data type. Which data type is and varchar, small int, teen int, bit, float. So this is a primary key. So we select the primary key if we require, because in primary key there is no duplicacy. This primary key is unique. There is no duplicacy. So if I in this data I am not 100% sure there is any other primary key or duplicacy, so I just blanked the primary key and allow key and click on the next button. So this is summary of our database, and click on the finish. So now the data is loaded here, and this operation has been completed successfully. Then now close the button. So we need to check our data is exactly imported or not. So we click on the refresh button. Then we select the data, because we select the data in the adventures works. So this is my mistake. I just need to create a new database. Okay, so what we do here, I just do the new database. In new database, I create the name of the database, and in this database I import the same flat file. Okay, I just take any database name Nishant. Okay, in this database is created here, database Nishant. In this database there is table is empty, there is no table, you see here. no table. What we do, I will do the same task. Import flat file, select next button, choose the customer booking, and we'll do the same process which I did earlier. Next button, this is a primary key for allows, and this is finish button. The data has been loaded after some time. That data is loaded here. Then we close the button and we just refresh our database. So after refresh, when we click on the table button, then you can see the table is given here. See the table customer booking. Now the time is given to see the data. Select and select top 1000 rows. So your data is here. This is executing the process. It takes some time. The data is large. So this is top 1000 rows. But if we delete the top 1000 and we want to know the exact rows in this data, so what we find here, exact data is 50,000. Now you can write here, you can delete all this data and write the query. Select a star from customer booking. Okay, this is your data. And now what we do, when we execute the data, what we do, we need to the sales channel of the internet and trip type, round trip, circuit trip, how many trips type is converted, how many trip size has been done for the purchase lead. If you want to know the total sum of the purchases as per the trip type, so we need to collect the data in group by, because we are collecting a data of the group by for the round trip. In which trip, like round trip, circuit trip, how many sales has been made in purchase lead. So what we do here, I just name here sales channel, comma, sum of sum of purchase lead, sum of purchase lead. Okay, and alias given here purchase, and from customer booking group by what? Group by channel sales channel. So this will give you the data of only sales channel in a group way, in which group how amount has purchased for round trip. So just select data and see. So this is the internet and mobile. So in internet 3788965 and the mobile 4845805. But this is the data. So what our the next work here, with this we import a data of customer booking into the Power BI desktop. So we come here in Power BI page, again we click on this SQL server options. Okay, in this server options, we just copy the server name. This is our server name, desktop 91R5MVE. So this is pop-up button of server, we just paste the server name. And second option is database, which is optional, but we need to put the database also for easy task. So what we do, we click here database, our Nishant, we just copy and paste here. Right now I am using this table from import query. I will tell you why I import, what is import, what is direct query mode, okay, in the next video. So right now I am just choose here import mode and click OK button. So in Nishant database, which table has been publishing here, this will show. So there is only one table in Nishant database. I just click on customer booking and the same option will show here, load, transform data and cancel. So when we click the transform data, so this data will move into the Power Query. Power Query means Power Editor, and we click on the load data, so this data will move into Power BI desktop. So our task is the load, first to load the data into the Power BI desktop, and second, when we work in the transform data in the Power Query, then we will move in the Power Query, and then I will show you how we get data into the Power Query and what is the process requirement in the Power Query. I think the data is big, so it takes time. So now this is the preview sections of the customer booking. I just load the data. So when the data has loaded here in the report, then you can show the tables and the row wise. So this is loading here. It takes a few minutes time, so please we wait here. So now is loading here, evaluating the data. This will be shown in the right hand side of the data panel, and the left hand side the Power View, Power Model and Table View. In Table View, this data will show again here, because this data will I am loading from the SQL server, so this data is show here. Okay, so now 50,000 rows will be import, then this data will show here, because rows is 50,000, I think 25,295 rows. It takes a little bit few times. Data is loading. I think it depends on your internet. Now the data has loaded successfully. So this is our data. If we want to see the data again, we just click here on the customer booking. So this is our data. So this is the process how we implement, how we import the flat file into the SQL server. And now our data is AdventureWorks 19. How we get data from AdventureWorks. So I repeat that this task once again. We click here on this tab and we click on the SQL server, and just we click again of the SQL server name. What we do? We do just copy server name and paste the database. The database is what? Database is AdventureWorks 19. Okay, and click OK. Then all the entire table in this database will reflect here. Okay, now this table, I just choose one table of person.person. So what will we do here? When we choose only one table, it depends on me and depends on the work and depends on the requirement, which table you want to upload into the Power BI. I will choose only one table for show you the data extracting process from SQL server to Power BI, because depends on your internet process. I think the internet process is slow, so it takes a few minutes time to see the data in this preview section. And there is one another option, select related table. If you don't know, if you select the person to person table and you don't know which table is related to this person table, so if you select the select related table, this will automatically select the similar to this table person.person and import into the Power BI and get a relationship between the as from the data modeling, and you create the report from the table. So in this video I will show you the data extract from the Excel file, data extract from the CSV file, data extract from the database backup file to SQL server and SQL server to Power BI, and how to get a file, how to get a data from a folder in CSV file, and how the flat file import into the SQL server. These all the process I will show. I show you I have shown you in this video. So now the last this data is uploading here. It takes a time. So from this PPT, this is the PPT how ETL works here. This from this graph, this is the shown database which I have shown you, how we collect the data from the SQL, how we collect the data from the import file from the SQL to Power BI, how to get the data from files, how to get the data from the SaaS application software as a service. So this is the lots of data sources which you collect from anywhere and load into the Power BI. So this is the transformation, because this is the staging area. Staging area means from where your data is coming. The data is coming in this place is called a staging area, and data warehouse is the data where is data is stored. So in any organization, this is very essential for get the data. So as a data engineer, they collect the data, with their self, and they give you the data of SQL database or any other database, or you get the data, you ask the data from the client as well. So when you get the data, then you analyze and check see the data wise, table wise, row wise, and you analyze the data and create a report as per the requirement. So this is our table of person. We just click on the load button. So the data will be load here. After this video, I will show you, I will make another video in this session for how do we upload, how do we transform the data into the Power Query, and we create some removes duplicate column, some null values, error, select the header format, data type, how we check the data type, how we create all the rules and regulations in the Power BI query. I will show you, and how and what is the process to work into the Power Query editor. There are conditional format column. There are many types of features into the Power Query editor. Actually, the Power Query editor is an inbuilt tool of Power BI. So this is depends on our requirement. When we upload the data into the Power BI desktop, we just import the data into the Power Query editor for see the data. So data is uploading now. It takes a few minutes time to load the data. I will show you just one just a page of Power Query, how the data is show in the page of Power Query editor. So before I just teach you all the topic in previous for the data uploading from flat file, CSV files, database backup file. All this data is very important in our current scenario organization where we'll work anywhere. This process you have to work, and this process you have to need to implement in the front of your manager, in front of your teammates. So data is loaded. So you can check the data of person. This is your data. Okay, you can check. If now data is loaded here successfully, and now you create the report. So in the next video, what I will teach you, what I will give the knowledge in the Power BI, I will give the knowledge in the data transformation, how we get data, how we transform the data. Because data transformation, data loading process has done here. So now the next process is our data transformation. When we click the data transform, so one another page is open here. This page is called Power Query Editor. This is our page. This is sales data, flight data. This is flight data, customer booking, and person. if you check in the customer booking, all the files you can see here, flight data. Yes, in flight data you see all the 3 years files, 18, 19, 20. So this data needs to be for transforming and the correction, because data is not right. So we need to transform the data in the right way, and this is the automatically parameter we uploaded here. I just did all the parameter, and this is the applied steps which we applied here. In the next video, if we do any steps which apply here in this Power Query, all the steps will copy here. If we click on the change type, the previous data will be show here. If we want to show how many data in flight, how many data in sales data, so what we will do is just click on the transform button and count rows. This will show you 45 data. Okay, this is the steps. What is steps? I just step counted rows, I just cross the button, then this page will automatically in the first page. If we check in the person and check the data, we click on the transform button and click on the count rows, the data will show here 19972. This is a count rows of the data, and this data will you show here also in SQL queries. In person, what you will show, select count person, what is the data, person. I think the data is there, person. Because we check the data from this tab here, which data is coming, 19972. okay, so this is a data business ID. If we copy the business ID, okay, business ID from person, if we check the data 19972, this is exactly data is showing here. 19972. This means that your data is correct. I just show you the process of check the data in this in anywhere, in company, in anywhere. You can see if this work has been done, then you just click and close and apply. Then you just move into the again Power BI desktop, and now you come in the Power BI desktop. So guys, today in this session I taught you the extracting the data from different sources. So I gave you the knowledge to the flat file, Excel file, CSV file, database backup file, and how we implement to import the data of the flat file into the SQL server, and how SQL server flat file import into the Power BI desktop. So please do and check my video once again if there any other confusion, and be prepared and be focused on the data, and be prepared for the data extracting process, and kindly do prepare for your data extracting, how we get the data from any other sources and get the data from the sources from any other file and import in the Power BI. So in the next video I will teach you the new session of data transforming into the Power Query editor. So I request you all, please watch my videos till end without skipping, because if you want to get the knowledge in this grab knowledge in the Power BI, so you need to focus the complete knowledge. So please check my videos until the end, and please like, share, subscribe my videos. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.